For biologist George Schaller, it's a walk back into his own history in a place largely unchanged by time. 50 years ago, Schaller was part of an expedition that surveyed what would become the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
It looks just like 50 years ago. Sure, your photographs may show there's some more willows and some of the spruce have grown, but it's the same.
Now, Schaller is part of a new National Geographic trek with a small group of researchers and graduate students. For weeks, they traversed more than 1,000 miles of the 19 million acre refuge, which lies within the Arctic Circle. This habitat is home to some 45 species of marine and land mammals. Here, wildlife is allowed to flourish without human impact. AWNR was established in 1960 and expanded in 1980 to protect a massive Arctic ecosystem. It's about the size of South Carolina. Only a few hundred native people live within the boundaries of this refuge. For the most part, it's untouched by humans. But all that could change. Some people want to explore for oil on a small percentage of AWNR land in an effort to decrease U.S. dependence on foreign oil. Conservationists worry that drilling for oil inside AWNR will lead to the eventual exploitation of an area that's been set aside as purely a wilderness region.
Well, this area has been developed. I wish they didn't have to expand it, and I most definitely think they have no business even considering expanding it into the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. There's some places on Earth that should be kept for the future without greed, without compromise. And Arctic National Wildlife Refuge is one.
Schaller was a young graduate student when he participated in the 1956 survey that preceded the establishment of the refuge. Today, he is helping a new generation of students study this Arctic landscape. The group is particularly interested in determining if global warming has had an impact on the region. To document the possible impact of changing temperatures on the landscape, the National Geographic team decides to return to the exact same peaks that were photographed almost a century earlier by photographer Ernest Leffingwell.
If you look in these photographs, is where all they were taken. You can see those two peaks.
The plan was for graduate student Forrest McCarthy to photograph the same places and compare the images side by side.
By examining the old photos, I have a pretty good idea that he actually must have taken the photos from somewhere right over there. So we're going to get up there, look at the old photos, and examine the surrounding topography to get an idea of exactly where they were taken in hopes of being able to repeat those.
The task is made somewhat easier by the fact Leffingwell left piles of rocks to show where he had been. These century-old signposts helped McCarthy to get accurate shots. For the most part, AWNR looks much as it did a century ago. And as it did 50 years ago when Schaller helped survey the area. The face of AWNR may change in the next 50 years, either because of human intervention or because of climate change. But for now, this pristine environment seems lost in time.